Hey there, lovely viewers, and welcome to Grey's Anatomy Official. Today, we need to talk about something heavy. Grey's Anatomy fans, brace yourselves. Your emotional stability might be about to be tested. If you recall from the season 21 finale, a massive explosion rocked Grey Sloan Memorial, leaving the fates of several beloved characters hanging by a thread. Now, with season 22 just around the corner, a new interview has everyone on edge about whether Link, played by Chris Carmack, will survive the catastrophic event. The explosion erupted on Grey Sloan's floor, throwing doctors and staff into immediate chaos. Monica, Jules, and Bailey were shown having a conversation on the floor, while Link was inside an operating room mid-surgery. We never found out if these four characters made it out alive at the end of season 21, and it's been haunting fans ever since. Now, Camilla Luddington, who plays Jo, Link's wife, has added some serious fuel to the fire in a recent interview. Speaking to Us Weekly about filming season 22, Luddington seemed to hint that her character would return, which isn't a surprise given Jo was outside the hospital when the explosion happened. However, Luddington expertly avoided giving any clear answers about Link's fate, and her comments have only made us more worried. When discussing how she first learned about the explosion, she expressed her shock, admitting she hadn't anticipated things would go so dramatically wrong for her character and Link. She initially believed Jo and Link's happiness might actually last, only to soon realize, as a veteran of the show, that Grey's Anatomy was about to deliver another shocking twist. She said, "I should have known. It didn't occur to me, and I'm a vet of 13 years of that show, and I was like, damn, things are going so well, like, so naive. And I'm like, oh, of course. No, there's gonna be an explosion, and my husband will be in it. I should have known." She also mentioned that the Grey's Anatomy season 22 premiere wasn't her favorite to film, calling it traumatic for the cast and crew. While we don't know who exactly won't survive the explosion, Link seems to be in the most immediate danger. And let's not forget, Jo had just revealed to Link that they were expecting twins in the season 21 finale. If you know anything about Grey's Anatomy, this show loves to deliver good news only to immediately throw in a life-threatening disaster to shock us all. There's a possibility that we'll see Link initially survive, maybe in a coma, but then his condition could suddenly take a turn for the worse, leaving Jo a widow and a single mother. It wouldn't be the first time the series has done something like this, where a character initially survives a life-threatening event only to face tragic consequences later. Obviously, we want to see Link make it out alive and for him and Jo to live happily ever after. But it's always best to prepare for the worst. Now, let's switch gears for a moment and talk about another Grey's Anatomy legend, Dr. Meredith Grey. Why Ellen Pompeo's Dr. Meredith Grey left Grey's Anatomy. In 2022, before season 19 of Shonda Rhimes' long-running medical series kicked off, Deadline broke the news that the show was losing its titular Grey. Ellen Pompeo, who has played Dr. Meredith Grey since 2005, stepped back from her lead role and was initially set to appear in only 8 episodes of season 19. This was to allow her to work on other projects, including the Hulu series Good American Family. Fans were given 2 important pieces of information. She'd keep narrating the series, and she would stay on as an executive producer. Technically, Meredith Grey moved from Seattle to Boston in season 19, but Pompeo is definitely still, by any conceivable metric, involved with Grey's Anatomy. She ended up appearing in 10 episodes of season 19, 5 episodes of season 20, which was abbreviated due to the 2023 Hollywood strikes, and 7 episodes in season 21. So, why did Pompeo exit after all that time, and why did she keep making appearances? We'll come back to that second question, but first, during an interview with The Hollywood Reporter for Good American Family, Pompeo, who rarely minces words, was blunt about why she stuck around on the medical drama for so long. On Grey's, you really only get an opportunity to be nominated for things in your first few seasons, and so that time had clearly passed, she explained. I didn't crave that kind of recognition. I craved the sort of financial and job security situation more that I did critical accolades. That's why I stayed on the show. Pompeo then spoke about her future as an actor, seemingly hoping that she could earn some accolades in different projects. Had I been chasing critical acclaim, I wouldn't have stayed on Grey's for so long, she continued. So it wasn't always the most important thing to me, but now that I'm doing something new, It would definitely, probably help me in this next chapter of my story, moving on from Grey's, doing other roles. To be absolutely fair here, Pompeo has been turning in solid to excellent performances as Meredith Grey for 2 decades, and was routinely snubbed for Emmys when her co-stars Sandra Oh and Chunder Wilson got multiple nods, and Katherine Heigl, who departed in Season 6, even won one for her work in Season 2. Beyond that, though, here's how the show writes Meredith off and why Pompeo will never fully cut the connective tissue between her and Grey's Anatomy. Why does Meredith leave Grey's Anatomy? And how does the show allow her to keep sticking around anyway? Even if you haven't watched a minute of Grey's Anatomy, it's not hard to see that Ellen Pompeo's Meredith Grey plays the biggest role in the series. We first meet her on her inaugural day as a surgical intern, where she's reunited with a one-night stand she met at a bar, only to learn that he's her boss, Dr. Derek Shepherd. Despite some frankly enormous and highly dramatic hurdles, the two ultimately get married, adopt a daughter, and have 2 more children. However, in the show's 11th season, Derek is grievously injured in a car accident and ends up dying of a brain bleed. Meredith, the consummate survivor, carries on as best as she can. In some ways, she deals with her newfound grief by diving headfirst into her work, and thanks to that, she wins the prestigious Harper Avery Award for Surgical Innovation, following in the footsteps of her famous surgeon mother, Dr. Ellis Grey. After a brief relationship with cardiothoracic surgeon Dr. Nathan Riggs, Meredith dates intern Dr. Andrew DeLuca and, as of Grey's Anatomy Season 21, comfortably settles down with fellow general surgeon Dr. Nick Marsh. The whole reason for Meredith's official exit, though, is that she realizes that her daughter Zola is suffering from severe anxiety. After Meredith brings Zola to visit Boston to look at private schools, Zola expresses interest in attending one geared towards STEM. This is the canonical in-universe reason for Meredith and her family, including Nick, to decamp to Boston and technically leave the show. So, how does the series justify keeping her around anyway? Truthfully, Ellen Pompeo will always be a part of Grey's Anatomy in some way. Okay, so why does Meredith Grey keep flying within the narrative of Grey's Anatomy between Seattle and Boston? Well, canonically, she's working on a research project intended to cure Alzheimer's, the degenerative cognitive disease that led to the death of her mother. In real life, however, Ellen Pompeo has been quite candid about why she didn't leave Grey's Anatomy completely. As she told Elle Pace, she made the show what it is today and still wants to reap the benefits. That would make no sense, emotionally or financially, Pompeo said of leaving the series entirely. The show was streamed more than 1 billion times in 2024. More than 1 billion times. She continued. The companies that own the show and stream the show make a lot of money from our images and our voices and our faces. If I were to walk away completely, everybody gets to make money from my hard work for 20 years and I wouldn't make any money. To me, it doesn't make any sense that everybody else gets to profit off of my hard work. And emotionally, the show means a lot to people. I want to have an attitude of gratitude toward the show. This is, to be honest, pretty fair from Pompeo's perspective, and as she said, stepping away partially and not fully has given her a better life overall. I've been doing it for 20 years, so it was time to step away, Pompeo revealed. I have 3 children and I love spending time with them and I love being involved in their lives. I'm very lucky to be able to get to work sometimes and take time off. I have a nice balance in my life. First look at Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere reveals who survived the explosion. Fans are getting an early look at things to come in Grey's Anatomy Season 22, and it even comes with quiet confirmations regarding who survived the Season 21 finale. New images from Grey's Anatomy Season 22, courtesy of an exclusive from Entertainment Weekly, show Anthony Hill's Winston Dugu holding back Katerina Scorzone's Amelia Shepherd. This does not bode particularly well for Chris Carmack's Atticus Lincoln. Fans also see Ellen Pompeo's Meredith Grey, Alexis Floyd's Simone Griffith, and newcomer Trevor Jackson's unnamed hot guy intern. The season finale of Grey's Anatomy Season 21, How Do I Live?, saw the hospital come under siege from a desperate Jenna Gatlin, whose daughter was suffering from a near-inoperable cavernous angioma on her brainstem. Armed with a lighter and a tank of acetylene, Jenna took numerous members of the hospital staff hostage and forced them to operate. Although Jenna was ultimately taken into custody, a misunderstanding regarding the tank she stole and its contents led to a delayed explosion in an active operating room. What to expect from Grey's Anatomy Season 22. Showrunner Meg Marinis confirmed that fans clearly saw Link in immediate danger, and that audiences will just have to see whether Link makes it through this explosion. Marinis also promised that one fan-favorite character will be playing a much larger role in Season 22 after escaping the situation unscathed, Trevor Jackson's intern, aka Hot Guy. He's so talented. It's been so fun with him on set already, and he is definitely mixing up the dynamics between our resident cast members, specifically Simone and Lucas, Marinis said of Jackson and his character. While almost every other character on Grey's Anatomy is always in at least some amount of danger, Ellen Pompeo's Meredith Grey has nothing of the sort to worry about. When asked back in April whether she might make her own full exit from Grey's Anatomy in the near future, Pompeo reiterated, "Leaving the show would make no sense, emotionally or financially. The show was streamed more than 1 billion times in 2024. If I were to walk away completely, everybody gets to make money from my hard work for 20 years and I wouldn't make any money. To me, it doesn't make any sense that everybody else gets to profit off of my hard work. And emotionally, the show means a lot to people. I want to have an attitude of gratitude toward the show." Grey's Anatomy stars thrilling horror with showstopper finale is now trending in the UK. Speaking of Grey's Anatomy alums, Thanksgiving, the thrilling horror film featuring Patrick Dempsey, is now trending in the UK. The 2023 film, which is based on a fictitious trailer from 2007's Grindhouse, takes place in a small Massachusetts town terrorized by a vicious serial killer during the Thanksgiving holiday. Featuring Addison Rae and Gina Gershon in supporting roles, the slasher horror was added to Netflix in the UK on Monday, September 1st, and it has proved to be a hit with viewers, currently sitting at number 4 on the streamer's film chart. In addition to its popularity with viewers, Thanksgiving also struck a chord with critics upon its original release, with its approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes currently standing at an impressive 84% from 150 reviews. Like curating the perfect holiday feast, Roth orchestrates a vicious, thrilling, and raucously entertaining slasher with a showstopper finale, opined Bloody Disgusting, while the Daily Telegraph called it a bloody feast to savor. Empire magazine wrote, "The ingredients are absolutely familiar, but what makes the whole recipe satisfying is the sheer amount of gruesome fun Roth manages to have with the concept." The wrap was also full of praise, writing, "With eye-popping production design and an invitingly rowdy premise, you feel just thankful enough for the full, calorie-rich meal Roth's latest slasher provides." The Hollywood Reporter stated, "It offers plenty of cheap thrills, or more accurately cheap kills, presented with the sort of attention to bloodthirsty detail that horror aficionados crave," while The Guardian called it inventive and gratifying. Such was the success of the film, with box office takings of $46 million against a $15 million budget. A sequel was soon greenlit by producers, with Roth returning to conceive the story while also taking his seat in the director's chair again. Thanksgiving 2 was originally slated for a theatrical release in November, though that now looks unlikely given that Nell Verloc confirmed to Deadline in May that filming on the film was yet to begin. For ways Grey's Anatomy accurately depicts hospital teamwork. For long, Grey's Anatomy has been winning hearts with its depiction of life in a hospital, giving an insight into how medical teams actually work. Though highly dramatized, the series does bring out some elements of real-life hospital team dynamics. Be it collaboration or communication, these are important to ensure proper patient care and seamless functioning in hospitals. Here's what Grey's Anatomy gets right about them. Effective communication among teams. In Grey's Anatomy, communication is another theme that reflects real-life hospitals. How doctors, nurses, and support staff communicate with each other is crucial for patient safety and smooth workflow. The show beautifully demonstrates how clear instructions and open dialogue can save you from misunderstandings and mistakes in treatment plans. This further highlights the importance of communication in keeping the team together. Hierarchical structures and their impact. The series also frequently depicts the hierarchical nature of hospital teams, mirroring reality where seniority dictates decision-making processes. In hospitals, seasoned professionals mentor and supervise less experienced staff. This structure can help keep things in check, but can also create friction if not handled properly. Grey's Anatomy showcases both the perks and the potential downfalls of such hierarchies in medical teams. Importance of team collaboration. Collaboration is also a major component highlighted in Grey's Anatomy. The series showcases how different specialists join hands to effectively diagnose and treat patients. In real-life hospitals, collaboration between departments provides holistic treatment by combining expertise from different fields, including surgery, radiology, and nursing. This spirit of collaboration boosts problem-solving capacity at healthcare facilities. Handling stressful situations together. Hospital environments are bound to be stressful with high-stakes life-and-death situations. Grey's Anatomy encapsulates the intensity of medical crises. It also shows how team members support each other, offering emotional resilience or practical help when needed. This is an accurate depiction of many real-world medical institutions. Camaraderie is an integral part of the pressure-filled circumstances healthcare workers face every day. 15 greatest medical dramas of all time. There are a lot of great medical dramas to choose from, but some shows are more memorable and gripping than others. Although some series set in hospitals offer fresh takes on TV tropes, like the humorous St. Denis Medical, nothing leaves a lasting impression like a serious, thought-provoking drama about life, death, and hope. The most impressive medical dramas know that a doctor or nurse's personal life is just as compelling as the wild, terrifying, and challenging cases they're trying to solve. The best shows in the genre stand out thanks to a particularly excellent main character, a strong ensemble cast, or a distinct and unforgettable tone that isn't typical for it. Here are some of the greatest, according to various critics and fans. The Knick, 2014 to 2015, a dark period piece set in a 1900s hospital, exploring surgery and substance abuse with a fantastic cast. Code Black, 2015 to 2018, set in an underfunded Angels Memorial Hospital. This show focuses on the realistic struggles of a trauma unit, led by the incredible Marcia Gay Harden. Nurse Jackie, 2009 to 2015, a dark comedy drama featuring an anti-hero nurse with an addiction, brilliantly portrayed by Edie Falco. Bramwell, 1995 to 1998, an underrated British period drama set in 1895 London, following a determined female doctor. The Resident, 2018 to 2023, loved for its great characters and their dynamics, especially Nurse Nick Nevin and Dr. Conrad Hawkins, as they navigate love and saving lives. The Hot Zone, 2019 to 2021, a gripping National Geographic series based on true stories of Ebola and anthrax epidemics. Private Practice, 2007 to 2013, a Grey's Anatomy spin-off centered on Dr. Addison Montgomery, praised for its dark storylines and strong character arcs. Saint Elsewhere, 1982 to 1988, one of the earliest ensemble hospital dramas, known for its impact on the genre and its creative series finale. Chicago Med, 2015, part of the One Chicago family. This show combines emotional cases with well-drawn characters and bold cliffhangers. The Good Doctor, 2017 to 2024, a popular and important drama focusing on Sean Murphy, an autistic doctor, praised for its character development and emotional depth. Transplant, 2020 to 2024, a Canadian medical drama with a serious premise, following a refugee doctor from Syria working in Toronto. Grey's Anatomy, 2005, of course, our very own show, celebrated for its longevity, memorable episodes, and complex characters like Christina Young and Meredith Grey. The Pit, 2025, an upcoming HBO Max medical drama set over 15 hours of a hospital shift in Pittsburgh, promising creative storytelling and raw emotion. House, 2004 to 2012, famous for its unique protagonist, Dr. Gregory House, a brilliant but flawed diagnostician, and its Sherlock Holmes-inspired approach. Our 1994 to 2009, the benchmark for all medical dramas, known for its intriguing medical cases, well-written characters, and dynamic relationships. Who survived the Grey's Anatomy explosion? An exclusive look at the season 22 premiere reveals clues. We clearly saw Link in immediate danger. Showrunner Meg Marinus teases of Chris Carmack's character. Season 21 of Grey's Anatomy ended with an explosion in one of the Grey Sloan Memorial operating rooms. Showrunner Meg Marinus breaks down who is in danger as the action picks up in the season 22 premiere, and exclusive photos provide more clues. Marinus also reveals how the new intern played by Trevor Jackson is mixing up the dynamics, and how much we can expect to see Ellen Pompeo's Meredith Grey this season. Grey's Anatomy finales are always explosive, but not usually in a literal sense. In May, the ABC drama concluded with a hostage situation resolved peacefully, only to be followed up with the last-minute surprise that an explosive gas had been released into one of the operating rooms. Just before the credits rolled, a ball of fire burst from Grey Sloan Memorial, leaving fans to wonder who is in danger. Now, Entertainment Weekly has exclusive photos from the season 22 premiere that provide a few answers. But just a few weeks ago, not even the writers knew who would survive. I knew what I thought initially, showrunner Meg Marinis tells EW, but I wanted to wait until my writers were back so that people could also fight and argue with me. And so some things changed, some didn't. But I want to give everyone a chance to fight for what happens to specific characters. So who should we be worried about? Monica Beltran and Jules Millen were on the floor preparing for surgery. Miranda Bailey was at the scheduling board, so also at risk. Teddy Altman and Lucas Adams were both separately on their way to find Richard Webber, so any of those three might have been nearby. Then there's Ben Warren, who ran into the hospital the moment he saw the explosion. First look at Grey's Anatomy season 22 premiere reveals who survived the explosion. Fans get an early look at things to come in Grey's Anatomy season 22. It even comes with quiet confirmations regarding who survived the season 21 finale. The new images from Grey's Anatomy season 22 come courtesy of an exclusive from Entertainment Weekly. In the images, fans can see Anthony Hill's Winston Dugu holding back Katerina Scorzone's Amelia Shepard, which does not bode particularly well for Chris Carmack's Atticus Link Lincoln. Fans also see Ellen Pompeo's Meredith Grey, Alexis Floyd's Simone Griffith, and newcomer Trevor Jackson's unnamed hot guy in turn. The season finale of Grey's Anatomy season 21, How Do I Live?, saw the series' hospital come under siege from a desperate Jenna Gatlin, whose daughter was suffering from a near-inoperable cavernous angioma on her brainstem. Armed with a lighter and a tank of acetylene, Jenna took numerous members of the hospital staff hostage and forced them to operate. Although Jenna was ultimately taken into custody, a misunderstanding regarding the tank that she stole and its contents led to a delayed explosion in an active operating room. What to expect from Grey's Anatomy season 22? Showrunner Meg Marinis confirmed that fans clearly saw Link in immediate danger, and that audiences will just have to see whether Link makes it through this explosion. Marinis also promised that one fan-favorite character will be playing a much larger role in Season 22 after escaping the situation unscathed, specifically Trevor Jackson's intern, aka Hot Guy. He's so talented. It's been so fun with him on set already, and he is definitely mixing up the dynamics between our resident cast members, specifically Simone and Lucas, Marinis said of Jackson and his character. While almost every other character on Grey's Anatomy is always in at least some amount of danger, Ellen Pompeo's Meredith Grey has nothing of the sort to worry about. When asked back in April about whether she might make her own exit from Grey's Anatomy in the near future, Pompeo responded, "Leaving the show would make no sense, emotionally or financially. The show was streamed more than 1 billion times in 2024. More than 1 billion times. If I were to walk away completely, everybody gets to make money from my hard work for 20 years and I wouldn't make any money. To me, it doesn't make any sense that everybody else gets to profit off of my hard work. And emotionally, the show means a lot to people. I want to have an attitude of gratitude toward the show." Grey's Anatomy season 22 images tease who survived finale explosion. After the shocking explosion at the end of the Grey's Anatomy season 21 finale, brand new photos give some insight into who did and didn't survive the horrifying ordeal. Grey's Anatomy is known for shocking storylines that put its characters at risk of dying, like Derek Shepherd, George O'Malley, Lexi Gray, and Mark Sloan. After some of the characters were held hostage, Grey's Anatomy season 21 ended with an explosion at the hospital when a patient's family member caused a gas tank to blow up. Fans have had to wait several months for an answer over who lived and who might have died. EW shared brand new photos from Grey's Anatomy season 22 that shed light on the traumatic situation. In one image, Meredith Grey looks concerned while sitting on the edge of a hospital bed occupied by Dr. Leah Westbrook. The second photo shows a distraught Amelia Shepard in a hospital room while Winston Dugu tries to keep her in place. Another photo reveals Trevor Jackson returning as an intern as he stares at Simone Griffith in an elevator. Alongside the release of these 3 photos, Grey's Anatomy showrunner Meg Marinis told EW what fans can expect when the medical drama returns on October 9th. She acknowledged that Link is in immediate danger since he was in the operating room when the explosion occurred. "We clearly saw Link in immediate danger. We'll just have to see whether Link makes it through this explosion. I wanted to return right to the chaos. There's obviously going to be some hospital rebuilding that needs to happen. And so we're going to play the aftermath for more than just the first episode." Absolutely. The emotional trauma as well as the hospital needing to be put back together. What Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere photos mean. After big events unfold, sometimes a TV show might jump forward in time. However, the Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere will continue the storyline right from when the finale ended, so there will be a lot of chaos at Grey Sloan Memorial. As a result of the explosion, the hospital will have to undergo some construction. All the aftermath, from any characters that might die to the physical state of the building, will continue well after the premiere. Link isn't the only person at Grey Sloan who's in danger. Monica Beltran, Jules Millen, Miranda Bailey, Teddy Altman, Lucas Adams, and Richard Webber were all inside the hospital at the time of the explosion, with Beltran and Millen on the exact same floor. Ben Warren may have been outside amid the explosion, but he rushed back inside right afterward. The photo of a distraught Amelia appears to be the biggest indicator that Link might have died. However, this could just be Grey's Anatomy's way of throwing fans off the scent and directing attention at Link when it may end up being another character who didn't survive. Our take on the explosion aftermath on Grey's Anatomy. Since there won't be any time jumps when Grey's Anatomy returns, fans will get to find out everyone's fates at the same time as the characters. The premiere will be very chaotic, as Marinis teased, which will make for a very captivating premiere. The writers and producers of Grey's Anatomy are not afraid to kill off major and long-running characters, so there are several whom fans should be worried about, including Link. With 6 weeks left until the premiere, the anticipation is building, and fans are in for a wild ride when Grey's Anatomy returns on October 9th at 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on ABC. I have a wild theory about who dies in the Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere, but another Shonda Rhimes show may have already proved me wrong. We've still got a month to go before Grey's Anatomy returns to the 2025 TV schedule and throws us into the chaotic aftermath of the explosion at Grey Sloan Memorial, and I've already spent a lot of time thinking about what's to come. Who will die? Will it be multiple doctors? Who do we know is safe? I'm working on a new theory, but it's admittedly a pretty wild one, especially because it may have already been disproven on a different Shonda Rhimes series. To backtrack a little bit here, in the Grey's Anatomy Season 21 finale, a canister of gas that was thought to be empty after Piper Perebo's hostage situation ignited, blowing out a portion of the building and operating floor. Meredith Grey and Ben Warren were outside of the hospital when the blast occurred, so I've been assuming they are safe. But what if that's just what they want us to think? Hear me out. I think Grey's Anatomy might kill off Ben Warren. We do know that Ben doesn't die in the explosion, but what about in the aftermath? He is clearly seen sprinting back into the hospital immediately after, with those firefighter instincts kicking in and his wife Miranda Bailey last seen on the operating floor. Ben has proven to be impulsive to a fault time and time again. It's gotten him in trouble. It's gotten him hurt. Do any of us think he wouldn't risk life and limb to save his wife, or any of his other colleagues or patients? We know he would. He even says as much in his final conversation with Miranda just minutes before the blast. I stand by my choices to save lives. Every time. And why exactly is Ben having to stand by his choices in How Do I Live? Oh yes, because as of the Season 21 finale, he is no longer employed by Grey Sloan Memorial. That means Jason George's role on the show was already in question. Is Grey's Anatomy showrunner Meg Marinis going to send him to another hospital to continue his training after bringing him on board from Station 19? Or will he give it all up and be a stay-at-home dad to his adopted daughter Prue? Personally, I think it makes more sense that this rule-breaking maverick would go out like a hero trying to save his wife. Ben and Miranda's last words to each other have me a bit concerned too, as she got paged while they were discussing his next moves. 9 disaster episodes, Grey's Anatomy hasn't done yet. The finale for Grey's Anatomy Season 21 was a fiery one, jeopardizing the lives of several of our favorite Grey Sloan surgeons with what looks to be a very massive operating room explosion. We'll have to wait until season 22 arrives in October to find out which, if any, of our heroes in the blast zone made it out unscathed. But we're also thinking about what else might be ahead in the next bout. Gray's gas explosion was a shocker, but it was also pretty standard fare for the show, considering everything the hospital and its staff have been through over the years. In fact, the first hospital explosion happened all the way back in Season 3 with the infamous Bomb-in-a-Body bonanza. Among the litany of other disasters that have befallen the hospital or Seattle at large in the show are a train derailment, multiple mass shootings, a ferry boat crash, a flood, plane crashes, a sinkhole, a superstorm, a mudslide, an earthquake, a tunnel collapse, a roller coaster accident, a windstorm, a hospital fire, wildfires, a bus crash, multiple ambulance wrecks, a hacker attack, a heat wave, and, of course, a global pandemic. At this point, you might think there aren't any more new disasters that even could befall the team, but we've found a few that might become fodder for the longest-running primetime medical drama to continue its tradition of bringing big events to the small screen in Season 22. Volcano explosion. With several active volcanoes in the vicinity of Seattle, it's honestly surprising the show hasn't brought a volcanic eruption into the mix yet. Even an ash spray could do some serious harm. EMP attack. We've seen the hospital lose power before, but an EMP attack would take out all communications and backup power, leading to a major catastrophe. Cruise ship sinking. The ferry boat crash left the vessel still afloat, but could you imagine the carnage if a cruise boat went asunder and one of our heroes had to learn to scuba dive? Glacier crash. Another potential seaside disaster could be a glacier crash that impales and crushes people in the freezing water. Shark attack. Wildlife attacks have played a major role, but we haven't seen a shark attack yet, and since Grey's takes place on the waterfront, it's fair game. Tsunami. Okay. So tsunamis don't pose much of a threat to Greater Seattle, but that doesn't mean the characters couldn't be out somewhere and get caught up in one. Nuclear meltdown. Washington State has a nuclear power plant in Richland, just 200 miles from Seattle. An incident there would almost certainly affect Grey Sloan. Terrorist attack. Apart from mass shooters and hackers, there hasn't been a true terrorism attack brought into the mix, which would be incredibly triggering for the doctors. Alien invasion. This might sound silly, but where's the line, really? Who's to say that a UFO incident couldn't also impact Grey Sloan? Hey Grey's Anatomy, can you try focusing on Lucas' ADHD storyline? After 21 seasons, you would think that Grey's Anatomy would finally understand that its characters can have compelling story arcs outside of their messy love lives. However, when it comes to the interns, or rather residents now, it's evident that they will still recycle the same things over and over again rather than focus on any more compelling angle for one of their characters. A prime example of this is with Lucas and how the series has seemingly abandoned his neurodivergency arc. Lucas' story arcs have been somewhat interesting but repetitive, too. Admittedly, the appeal of Lucas and Simone was pretty great back in Grey's Anatomy Season 20 when it felt as if they were nodding at the early days of the series with this group of interns, either with direct ties to the OG crew, Lucas, or with similar personalities or lore to match the original MAGIC. However, since then, they've devolved into yet another messy couple, stuck in a cyclical loop of problematic behaviors and an inability to be together in a healthy or compatible manner. And oh yay, Simone has already slept with someone new, and we can expect yet another love triangle in an endless stream of them for the series. Of course, Grey's Anatomy Season 21 mostly had Lucas being the only one to face real repercussions for a patient's death, resulting in him spending the entire season set back from the rest of his peers and facing professional turmoil while those around him moved on. The frustrating thing about this arc is that it was often used as fodder to drive a wedge between Simone and Lucas. He often sought emotional support as he struggled to impress Catherine and regain his placement. Meanwhile, Simone was often too preoccupied with her own career, and the others were facing their own personal and professional struggles, making it difficult for them to truly show up for Lucas when he needed them to do so. It was unfortunate that Lucas appeared a bit isolated from the rest of the group, considering that initial connection was what made this batch of fresh new faces so interesting in the first place. Grey's completely abandons Lucas' ADHD arc. But the series never took the more obvious and interesting route with this storyline, and used it to delve deeper into his ADHD. Some of the behavior he exuded that led him to make such a seemingly reckless and impulsive decision could have easily been attributed to that. It would have been a nice through line for the series to connect his recently diagnosed ADHD with his decision-making and his having to retake his intern year. Grey's Anatomy alum Kate Walsh puts her spin on the life of a showgirl, in fishnets and lace corset. The actress said she couldn't resist sharing the throwback photo in honor of Taylor Swift's new album. Kate Walsh is the latest star to share her own version of the cover for Taylor Swift's forthcoming album, The Life of a Showgirl. Just 2 weeks after Swift nearly broke the internet with the announcement of her 12th studio album, Walsh said she just couldn't resist sharing a photo from her own showgirl era. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 release date, when the beloved medical drama returns to ABC. Get ready for more medical drama and more regular drama, because Grey's Anatomy returns to ABC this fall. In Season 22 of the show, Meredith Grey, executive producer Ellen Pompeo, will return for another season that is sure to keep you reaching for the tissues. But when exactly can you plan for the release date of Grey's Anatomy Season 22? The Grey's Anatomy Season 22 release date is Thursday, October 9th at 10 o'clock Eastern/Pacific on ABC. New episodes of the 18-episode season will continue to air in that time slot on a weekly basis. After the episodes have aired on ABC, they will be available for streaming the next day on